Hi friends, welcome back to the Saffron Box. So today I'm going to be talking about the month of August 2022 and what are going to be the important transits, important planetary movements this month, and how would it affect all of us. So I'll go ahead as usual with the introduction, explaining the journal effects first, and thereafter I'll go on with the sign-wise forecast as well. So I'll go from Aries till Pisces. You'll find a timestamp in the description box in the comment section, which you can use. It's put up for your convenience, right? So but one more thing which I would like to talk about is whenever we look at transits, monthly, yearly, planetary transits, any kind of transits, we must keep the natal chart in the background, because transits are like delivery boys. So you order something from a restaurant, howsoever good or bad it is, how does the food reach you? How does the delivery happen finally at your place? Transits are doing that work. So whatever the restaurant has cooked and given to you, that is something which the delivery boy cannot change, right? So you've got to have that objectivity. The natal chart is something which promises, which gives you the basic promises of your life. The dashas also indicate when are these transits, when are these promises going to fructify, and the transits finally come down. Which month will you get something, and all this fine tuning work, and when do you get it? All these things are seen by the transits. So do remember to have the basic foundation of your natal chart, of your dashas, and then thereafter see the transits as well. And this is a very rational approach which I really recommend to all of you to follow while you're seeing any predictions regarding transits, whether it is my prediction or anybody's prediction. So it is important to keep it like that. Now going ahead with the month of August 2022, how does it look like? So in August 2022 we have some important movements happening. First of all, we have Sun, the most important king of planets. Sun is coming to its own sign, sign of Leo. So Sun will be leaving Cancer by the 17th of August and coming into the sign of Leo. And while Sun exits Cancer, it also loses the aspect of Saturn. So Saturn, as you all know, is retrograde, and it is right there opposite in the Capricorn, in the sign of Capricorn. So now as soon as Sun moves out of Leo, that aspect is lost. So that opposition, which was right bang on frontal opposition of Sun and Saturn, is going to break. So some relief there to a lot of us. Then we have Mercury. Mercury is going to be the sign of Leo, and then it will be moving into the sign of Virgo, where it exalts. So Mercury moving to its exaltation sign. Again, Mercury is the planet of speech, of communication, the way we manage things around, and so many other things. So Mercury getting exalted is going to be of a lot of use to a lot of rising signs as well. Then we have Mars Rahu conjunction breaking up. Mars Rahu, as you know, are conjunct together in the sign of Aries, and by the August 10th, Mars will be exiting the sign of Aries, its own sign, coming into the sign of Taurus, which is a Venus ruled sign. Now though they are neutral to each other, but Mars being in an earthy sign of Taurus especially gives a lot of stable energy, gives a lot of patience to Mars. So till now, in the company of Rahu, Mars would have been a little impulsive, aggressive sometimes. But here, moving in the sign of Taurus, here Mars gets some stable energy, some perseverance gets added on, some patience gets added on. So I term it as good energy over here. Mars energy is channelized well also. Then we have Venus. Venus is in the sign of Cancer from the 7th of August till the rest of the month. Apart from that, Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn, retrograding till now, and I've made videos on the effect of retrograde Jupiter as well as retrograde Saturn separately. You can go ahead, watch these videos. Rahu is in the sign of Aries, Ketu is in the sign of Libra. So that was about the planetary state. What is the state of the planets as of now? So I'll go ahead with the sign wise impact. I'll begin with Aries. Now for Aries, you see, uh, one important thing which is happening is your Lagnesh is leaving the first house, leaving the ascendant, and moving on to the second house, and thereby it activates the trine, activates the Artha trine. So here a lot of your focus would now get channelized into finances, into family money, into saving for yourself, saving for your future. So you could be there, you could take advice regarding your investments, you could make new investments, put in your energy in thinking through, put on your thinking caps to see how you're going to save in for your future, how you're going to accumulate more. So what is it that helps your pocket, ways to manage that? That is something which is the main focus area, which a lot of Aries rising will find themselves in, right? Then we have Venus in your fourth house for a long time in the month. So here Venus also makes you focus a lot on comforts, domestic environment, etc. So while a lot of your focus is going to be on the saving front, here Venus would also make you focus on the house. So how you're going to balance this energy is a challenge here. So how you're going to spend reasonably, keeping your finances in check, is something which you'll have to manage this particular month. While Mars is there in the second house, while you put in your energy towards family money, finances, etc., it is also very important for you to keep a tab on how you speak. So a lot of times you could be saying the right thing, being right, but you could be saying it in a harsh way, in a bitter way. So that is something which you'll have to manage within the family. So there could be occasions of some unpleasantness coming up. So that is something which is a challenge which I see. Then Mercury is getting exalted in the sixth house. Sun is coming to the fifth. So here a lot of focus comes into your goal setting. What is your goal for the future? Now here a lot of things is a lot of decisions, a lot of your goals regarding the financial side is going to be the agenda for this month. And Mercury in the sixth house also in an exalted state. It's good for a few things and it is not so good for a few things. It's good for your discrimination at work. How do you discriminate? How are you managing your colleagues, your co-workers? How are you managing your daily routine? You put in some creative idea, you see how you manage it, etc. But at the same point in time, it is also important to take care of your health. So for Aries ascendant, Mercury is a functional malefic. So problems related to skin, nerves, or your throat infections, these kind of things can pop up and create some issues. So eat well, which is very important. Eat well, do not eat very heavy food or very spicy food, and take care of your health, take care of your digestion also. So from other angles it seems to be good. There's a good chance of creativity, using your creative thinking for your long-term investments, long-term goals. All these things are playing up, but health has to be seen, so that is important. Then you also have the other planetary alignment, like Saturn is in the 10th. I've already spoken about this in my Saturn retrograde video. So here anyways a lot of focus is on work, etc. So now the help which Mercury gives is to use your communication, use your creativity to better manage your workplace. Then I move on to the next sign of Taurus. Now for Taurus, if you see your first house, the Lagna, first of all, Mars is coming into the Lagna, Mars is coming to the ascendant. It's leaving your 12th house. A lot of you will get relief from unnecessary expenditure, unnecessary wastage of time, money and energy. So Mars here will give you some stability. Though Mars is the 7th lord and the 12th lord also, but still Mars being in an earthy sign here is still a little better. Do take care of your relationship with your spouse. Don't be impulsive there. Don't be bitter tongued, speak harshly, etc. That is something which you've got to avoid. Otherwise a lot of your planets are in good positions. Venus is in the third house. Then you have Sun coming into the fourth house. Mercury, which is again a friendly planet for you, gets exalted in the fifth house. A very good time to use your intelligence. Very good time to use your wit, use your past experiences, your intelligence to plan ahead or put all this into your work. Other planetary alignments are also supporting you. Saturn is also there in your ninth house. uh, a lot of boost is coming to you from a lot of angles. Jupiter is in your 11th house in retrograde motion, so again a good position for it to be. So here it's important that you take decisions regarding your higher education. A lot of you will see traction over there, you'll get good opportunities for higher education, etc. Or setting up your own work, doing something from home, etc. So a lot of new initiatives can come up, provided you use your wit and intelligence in the right direction. So do not get influenced by people around you easily. Use your own mind. As they say that you have to listen to everybody and then finally do whatever you feel like, whatever you feel is right. So use your discretion properly. That's very important. This month also helps you in beating out a lot of competition. So if you're preparing for some competitive exams, or if you're preparing for something where you are dealing with a lot of competitors, this could prove to be a good month. Good for people who are self-employed as well. Then I move on to the next sign, which is Gemini. So for Gemini, you see we have Mars entering your 12th house, we have Venus is in your second house, we have Sun coming into the third, and we have your Lagnesh. Most important, Lagnesh's position is always the most important. So Lagnesh is getting exalted in the fourth house of your comforts, of your heart, of your it's a Kendra Sthana of your house, of your mother, so many other things, Sukh Sthan as such. So here a lot of your focus will be here. You can get good results related to your house, your relationship with your mother. All these things can actually help you out. What you really feel like doing, your creative talents can come out. It's good for people who are pursuing higher education. Mercury over here can help you use your analytical ability, your communication ability pretty well. It is also this month also sees a lot of good support from Venus. So Venus in the second house can also help you out in terms of money, in terms of making investments, etc. Venus is the karka of wealth. Venus is Lakshmi. So Venus is in the second house can actually help you manage your wealth properly. So if that applies to you, it's a good period. Sun in the third can also help you out in taking new initiatives. So it can keep your morale, it can keep your confidence up. So a good time to use your communication. See, Mercury is also going to be in Leo for a considerable amount of time, and then it will move on to Virgo. So the first half of the month, it's better to use your communication skills to make the right sales pitch. You are trying to develop your business, you're trying to make new clients, new area of work you're trying to explore. So for all these things, this is a great time, right? And apart from that, otherwise, if you see the position of other planets also, Jupiter and Saturn, etc., there is a lot of support in terms of work also. But otherwise, you can refer to the retrograde Saturn video, which I made in detail regarding all the ascendants, right? One more thing which you have to take care of is driving. So don't drive rash, don't be impulsive, don't pick up fights easily, right? So even if you get provoked by somebody, it's important to keep your cool. So Mars energy there in the 12th can make you little impulsive and lose your cool or lose your temper little quickly. Though Mars is an earthy sign, but still here it makes you a little accident prone or a little injury prone as well. So be aware of that energy, and the rest of the month seems to be good for you. Then we move on to the next sign of Cancer. So for Cancer, you see Sun is currently in your ascendant, and then it moves on to your second house. Mercury is also moving in your second house, and then moves on further to your third house where it exalts. Venus is going to be in the ascendant. Now Venus is again a good planet for the Cancer ascendant. It has the lordship of the fourth house, of the 11th house as well. So things related to your things related to luxury, things related to big ticket expenses, your wishes regarding some luxurious items, upgrades in your house, all these things can start working out a bit. So that is something which you can do, which you can plan this month as well. Mercury exalted in the third can actually make use of your good communication skills, the way you communicate, the way you convince people. You can use this skill if that qualifies, if that applies to you. If you are in a profession where you have to use a lot of communication and convince people, use your words to affect people, this is a good time where you can use Mercury's energy to get to your goals, get to what you want, right? So there could also be a lot of chances of communication within your siblings or your neighbors. So a lot of moving around, a lot of mingling around with your neighbors, with your siblings, etc., social gatherings, all these things can actually play out. Mars is also in your 11th house. Now Mars for the Cancer ascendant is a yoga karak. So a lot of your long-term desires this month can see some fructification. It depends again on the kind of dasha, on the kind of promise you have in your natal chart. So important domestic matters again will be a focus area, and your communication skills again a focus area. Then I move on to the next sign of Leo. So for Leo, you see the ascendant lord is coming to the ascendant. So Sun is going to be exiting the 12th house for you and coming into the first house. So a time for the ascendant lord to recharge itself. So it's recharging time. Whenever the Lagnesh comes to the Lagna, it's like recharging itself, So a good time for confidence building, good time for projecting your image, dealing with public issues, dealing with people with a lot of confidence, etc. And then we have Mercury exalting in your second house. So Mercury is a good planet for you. It's the second lord and the 11th lord. So your dhan, bhava, your house of wealth, house of money is ruled by Mercury. And then your house of wish fulfillment, 11th house, Ichha Purti, is also ruled by Mercury. So here Mercury getting exalted can bring in good results in terms of material gains. Right, so in your family business or in your family finances, make sure that your communication is good. You are speaking diplomatically. That is important. So when Sun comes to the Lagna, there could be a chance that you speak with a lot of authority, which is not liked by other people. So keep your speech diplomatic and deal with all these issues. A good time for material gains, as I mentioned. And this is also, when we see Venus in your 12th house, Venus is going to be in the sign of Cancer in your 12th house. There could also be chances that you let out, you let go of some old relationships, or you are, you let go of any emotional baggage also which you have. So subconsciously, what you're dealing with, something which is bogging you down, time to let go of it, time to start afresh, right, on a lot of things. This could also be a time of emotional healing or emotional turmoil, and then thereafter emotional healing, right? Then I move on to the next sign of Virgo. So for Virgo, you see Mercury is going to be there, your Lagnesh is going to be there in the 12th house, and then it comes to the first house where it gets exalted. So we have Sun coming into your 12th house from the 11th. We have Venus in your 11th house almost the entire month. And, we anyways have Jupiter aspecting your Lagna from the 7th house. Mars has moved out of the 8th house. That risky energy which you had in the 8th house is now off. That energy is broken. Mars is moving on to the 9th house now. So here are a few things which you have to see. There could be a relief from long-term problems which you were facing, chronic problems, chronic illnesses. There could be a change of a method of treatment. There could be a change of doctors which helps you out. So there could also be some changes, there was some long-term problem or a long-term litigation. Now it can, start getting resolved. So all these things can play up. Make sure that you do not end up in a conflict with your father or with your teachers, with your superiors, with your gurus. Mars energy here in the ninth, as I mentioned, for all the Mercury lagnas, for the Virgo lagna also, Mars is not a functional benefic. It's the third lord and the eighth lord, so it rules the third and the eighth houses. And Mars energy is a little functionally malefic for you, for the Virgo ascendant. So here, by way of your communication or regarding money matters, there could be conflicts. So try to avoid these conflicts, because all these conflicts could be just some impulsive things, which just come up to the surface and gradually wear out, right? So a lot of you would also spend a lot of time on entertainment, on mingling around, on amusement activities, etc. So good time for that. Mercury here in the Lagna will help you in your work, using your discretion, using your decision making ability, using your communication to convince your superiors, convince your people at work. And this will apply specifically if you have your own work. So if you're self-employed, so convincing the people around you, the people whom you deal with on a daily basis, will be easier now here with Mercury in the Lagna. So make use of this time, make use of this month's energy, especially the second half of the month. Then I move on to the next sign of Libra. So if you have a Libra ascendant or a Libra rising, see, we have the Lagnesh in the 10th house, and then we have Sun coming into the 11th house, its own house, though Sun is a Badkesh also for you. Then we have Mercury, your 9th lord, and your 12th lord in the 12th house. It's getting exalted. So a lot of important movements for you. Mars has left a Kendra house. It is now coming into the 8th house. So what does this show? It shows that a lot of your focus is going to be on your work, going to be on delivering whatever you have committed. So working towards your name, fame, your reputation, your status in the society. All these things are going to be important for you with Venus's transit in the 10th house. So you work towards all this. You want to leave a mark, in your surroundings, in whatever area, your area of jurisdiction or whatever. So you could take some important decisions regarding work. You could take some important decisions regarding things at work. So that is a focus area. Then Sun is coming into the 11th house, its own sign. So a lot of your long pending things, long pending desires could actually fructify. There could be some material gain, right? So Sun and Mercury will also see a conjunction for some time, and then Mercury moves on to the 12th house where it gets exalted. So while this could bring in some big ticket expenditure also, but this could also enhance your luck, especially if you are looking at moving out, moving on to a different country, if you are awaiting your PR, if you are awaiting some immigration process. So all this can also be a little useful if you're looking at studying abroad. So things could start moving in a positive direction for you. Then we have Mars in the 8th house. Mars is a Marka planet for you. The second house and the 7th house are ruled by Mars. So make sure that you stay in the safe zone physically. So don't try anything very risky, anything very adventurous. Drive safely, follow rules. Don't be rash on the road. Don't be rash in dealing with things. So if you're doing something with electricity, with some gadgets at home, make sure that you have proper precautions. You're wearing the right equipment, using the right things. So these things have to be seen. Any chances of injury or cuts or burns, these things have to be avoided. So be very careful with your body and any injury, anything risky around you. So I'm not trying to scare you, but yeah, you have to be a little careful with all these things. Avoid any conflict with your spouse. So there could be money related discussions with your spouse, and this could lead to some conflict as well. That is something which you'll have to keep a tab on. Then I move on to the next sign of Scorpio. So for Scorpio, you see, we have the Lagnesh Mars moving in the 7th house, moving to the 7th house by the 10th of August. So the ascendant Lord is directly going to aspect the ascendant, aspect the Lagna, which is a good sign, which is a positive thing to be happening. Then we have Sun coming into the 10th house, its own house. We have the planet Mercury getting exalted. Now Mercury, in your case, compared to the other Mars Lagna, like compared to the Aries Lagna, for you Mercury is a better planet, though it owns the 8th house, but it also owns the 11th house. So here there could be chances that something which was long pending, long pending inheritance matter, long pending litigation, some money which was supposed to come back to you for a long time. Now these kind of things could work out positively for you, right? So, and then also with Sun coming into the 10th house, this energy can also help you in standing apart in the crowd, getting the name and fame which you deserve. So if there was some recognition, if there was some reward which was pending for a very long time, I think this is the month where things could start working in your favor, provided you have the promise of the dasha as well. So right, so this has to be seen. And then Venus in the 9th house, there could also be travels, some travels to some faraway places, travels for pleasure specifically, right? So these kind of themes can play up. Long distance travels are definitely seen for if it applies to you. For some, it will also translate into a lot of extra expenditure also, right? Then we move on to the next sign of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, you see the Lagnesh is in the 4th house, that we know it's retrograde in motion. And right opposite the Lagnesh, we have Mercury. Mercury is going to come in the second half of the month and get exalted over there. Mercury is again a very important planet for you. It owns the other two Kendra Sthanas, the 7th and the 10th. It's also a Badkesh, it's a Markesh also. So, a lot of, emphasis is on Mercury in your chart. Mercury is a very important planet for you. So here Mercury exalting in the 10th can actually make you focus a lot on your work. So whatever you had been thinking till now, I think now you'll be able to channelize your energy, put it into action properly. So use this time, use your ideas, put them into action. Okay. And then we have Sun coming into the 9th house, a good transit. Your Bhagyesh is coming into the Bhagyasthan, right? So while there could be some chances regarding disagreements or regarding some issues with your father, if you're careful about that, your luck is getting a boost. Sun is coming here. So you can do some Gayatri chanting, Gayatri mantra chanting, etc. Sun's energy is going to help you out. Sun is coming in the trinal house. So any planet coming in the trines actually helps the Lagna. So that is again a good sign. We have Venus in the 8th house. Venus will move into the 8th house. So Venus here could actually make you deal with some old problems, old health issues. There could be some health issues which you can face up with. And there could be some changes in some social relationships. So some old friendships, new friendships, some change over there, there could be a loss of some old friend, somebody who's not trying to contact you for a long time, or somehow you lose touch and you feel bad about it. These kind of things can happen. So relationships can be a little challenging, especially with this Venus energy in the 8th house. So any litigation which you had been facing for a long time regarding money, this could get prolonged also. So it's a good time now for the Sagittarius ascendant to use the energy of the Jupiter in the Kendra, of the Mercury in the Kendra Bhava. Mercury is exalted also. Jupiter is also in its own house. So this is a good energy to use your wisdom, use your intellect, and deal with a lot of issues. So put your energies into practical action. Then I move on to the next sign of Capricorn. So for Capricorn, you see, you anyways have your ascendant lord, your Lagnesh Saturn in the Lagna. It's retrograde in motion. Okay, and then we have Venus. Venus is going to come into the seventh house and aspect your Lagna. So there is going to be a mutual aspect of Saturn and Venus. Then we have Mars coming into the fifth house. Mars is again a good planet for you because it owns the fourth and the 11th house. So Mars is coming out of that Rahu Mars conjunction, coming to the fifth house. We have Sun going to the own sign of Leo. Mercury is getting exalted in your ninth house. Mercury again is an important planet for you. It owns a trinal house as well. So its mole trikona and its exaltation sign falls in the trinal house, falls in the ninth house. So here there could be a boost of luck. Luck in terms of education, luck in terms of support from your father, or journeys outside the country or far away from home. Some fruitful journeys can come up. Some fruitful communication between your siblings, between you and your neighbors. So these kind of things can play out. If you're in the media industry, if you're in the mass communication sector, there could be good results which you see. You're able to utilize the energy of Mercury well, if that is right. So Venus here also, Venus is a yoga karak for you. So Venus here coming into the seventh house, aspecting the Lagna and the Lagnesh, also can give you a boost. So a lot of things which were dragging along for a long time can actually start moving at a faster pace, whether it is things related to your marriage, or things related to your progeny, related to your kids, your work. A lot of things overall, I would say a lot of major things get a push here. Then we also have Mars in the fifth house. So as I said, Mars is also in a trine from the Lagna. So here Mars is also going to give a little boost to the slow Saturn in the Lagna. So a good time overall. Make a list of all the pending things which you have to get done and get on to it. That is important for the Capricorn ascendant. Then I move on to the next sign of Aquarius. So for Aquarius, you see, we have the Lagnesh in the 12th. We have Jupiter in the second house. Then Sun is going to move into the sign of Leo in your seventh house and going to aspect the Lagna. Mars will be there in the fourth house. So Sun and Mars energy in the Kendra. Venus comes to the sixth house. Venus is a yoga karak for you as well, being a Saturn Lagna, and Venus comes into the sixth house. So also Mercury is getting exalted in the eighth house for you. So here what I would say is that there could be a lot of focus on relationships, some difficulties also. There could be some separation from your partner or from your spouse for some time. There could be some travel, there could be some journeys which you may be undertaking alone, or your spouse may be undertaking alone. So some physical separation for a while. Some ego issues can crop in sometimes also. So you've got to focus a bit on your relationship, on your marriage, etc. So apart from that, people who are in a partnership business also need to be a little careful. Keep your communication proper, keep your relationship in a good state with your partners. So if you're doing your business, if you're in a partnership, it's very important for you. Then a lot of energy can go in in your domestic matters or in your home related, construction related issues. So if you're making a house, or you're constructing a house, you're renovating a house, I think this is a time when a lot of your work can get pick up a pace. Those of you who are in the business of land construction, bricks, these kind of things, engineering related also, this could be a fruitful time. So your energy gets utilized, your time, everything gets, efforts get utilized in a proper manner. So use this time. Work gets affected directly, and just take care that your ego issues do not cause problems at various places, be it work, be it your marriage, etc. Then I move on to the next sign of Pisces. So for Pisces, you see, we already have the Lagnesh Jupiter in the Lagna, and it is retrograde in motion. It is getting a lot of bal, it is getting a lot of strength anyways. And then we have Mercury right in front. By the second half of the month, Mercury will come be in a state of exaltation in your seventh house. Sun is in the sixth, Venus is in the fifth house, and then of course we have Mars in your third. Overall, I see this as a good time. I see this as a time to take on more projects, to take on more work. Make sure that your goal setting is good. You've set a good goal for yourself and start working towards it. Mars here in the third will anyways help you in taking new initiatives, taking on more responsibilities. Now, these responsibilities could be connected with your family business, something which you get from your father or your forefathers, any family business which you're running. So, more responsibility over there, or more responsibility related to physical work, so you get more tasks physically. So a lot of energy here. The Mars energy helps you in discharging your duties well, helps you in discharging your responsibilities well. So that is something which I see as a good sign. Then Venus here in the fifth house also helps you boost your creative energy. So creative energy, your if you are into artistic work, creative work, this is again a good favorable time for you. Venus here could also make you a little emotional in terms of your romantic alliances, romantic liaisons. So that is something again which you have to deal with very rationally. Matters of the heart need to be dealt with rationally, especially with Venus here. Then with the Sun and Mercury energy in the sixth house, there could also be a lot of focus on your daily routine, on how you manage yourself every day. And that is something which I would advise you also about. So take care of your food intake, take care of your daily routine. Sun here, wherever the sun's energy goes, sun wants to make you do things the way sun is, as per its own nature. So be disciplined, be a stickler to the rules. All these things have to be followed. Use your intelligence in a proper righteous manner. Be more helpful towards others. So these kind of things can play up. And then with Mercury moving into your seventh house, exalting over there in the sign of Virgo, there could also be a lot of focus on your relationships. So there could be chances of marriage alliances coming up, new business proposals coming up, uh, new chances, new innovation ideas coming up. Mercury, remember, is creativity. Mercury is also the ability to manage things around yourselves, right? So Mercury is a very versatile planet, and though it's a Badkesh also for you, but here Mercury, being the fourth lord, being the seventh lord, getting exalted over here, this could also bring in good chances or good chances of growth for your spouse. So your spouse also sees a boost. So make sure that your home environment is okay. You are dealing with your spouse, in a proper manner. There could be conflicts. There could be disagreements, ideological disagreements, etc. With this Jupiter Mercury coming face to face. But make sure that you're dealing with them properly. Your relationships have to be a good focus area here. Right, so that was all about the 12 signs, the 12 ascendants, and I'll meet you very soon in my next video. Till then, goodbye, take care.